Welcome friends. Short questions and answers in respiratory system part 3. What is respiratory membrane? So it is tissue which separate pulmonary capillary blood and alveolar air, having thickness of 0.5 micrometer. If we see the structure of respiratory membrane, it contains layers. First, fluid plus surfactant. Second, alveolar epithelium. Third, epithelial basement membrane. Fourth, interstitial space. Fifth, capillary basement membrane. Sixth, capillary endothelial membrane. Seventh, plasma. You can add RBC and hemoglobin. What is hypoxia? Reduced oxygen at tissue or cellular level is known as hypoxia. Write types of hypoxia. First, hypoxic hypoxia or hypoxemic hypoxia or arterial hypoxia. Second, anemic hypoxia. Third, histotoxic hypoxia. And fourth, stagnant hypokinetic or circulatory hypoxia. Explain, in histotoxic hypoxia, the oxygen therapy is of no use at all. In histotoxic hypoxia, oxygen delivery to the tissue or the cell is adequate, but utilization of oxygen is defective. So in this case, even if we give more oxygen, it is of no use because oxygen is already there, but problem lies in the utilization of oxygen. Example, cyanide poison. It blocks cellular enzymes which are essential for the cellular respiration. So in histotoxic hypoxia, if we give oxygen therapy, it is of no use. What is asphyxia? Oxygen starvation due to low atmospheric oxygen or interference with the ventilation or external respiration or internal respiration. So asphyxia simply means hypoxia plus hypercapnia. Now example, due to ligation of blood vessels, in general, drowning, strangulation, tracheal obstruction, choking are the example of asphyxia. Explain, normally intrapleural pressure is always negative or subatmospheric. Intrapleural pressure or intrathoracic pressure, it is pressure within pleural cavity. It is negative due to two opposing force. First, normal tendency of the chest wall is to pop up outward, but it is partially pulled inward, that is, chest wall is compressed against its normal tendency to pop up outward. Second, normal tendency of lung is to collapse, but it remains somewhat inflated or stretched. Because of this two opposing force, there is slightly enlargement of fluid filled intrapleural space, but the fluid can't expand the way air can. So slightly enlargement of the pleural space lead to negative pressure. So normally intrapleural pressure is always negative or subatmospheric. Explain. Normally alveoli are dry or lung are dry in humans. First of all, we need to understand surface tension, which is retracting force. It pulls the alveolar wall to center of the alveolus. It also pulls the fluid from capillary, so accumulation of the fluid near the wall of the alveoli. But because of the presence of surfactant in the lung alveoli, it reduces the surface tension. So inward force drawing fluid out of the capillary is reduced and keeps the alveolar dry. So simply because of the presence of surfactant in the lung, alveoli are dry. Explain. Oxygen dissociation curve as sigmoid appearance. Deoxyhemoglobin or simply hemoglobin. Here globin unit is tightly bound, that is tense configuration, which has low affinity for oxygen, or simply the oxygen binding sites are covered, not exposed. But when oxygen combined with the hemoglobin, the globin unit are released, that is known as relaxed or R configuration, which expose more oxygen binding site. So affinity for next oxygen molecule is greatly increased and the reaction occur very rapidly. This is responsible for the sigmoid shape of oxygen hemoglobin dissociation curve. Explain. Alveolar ventilation is less than respiratory minute volume. So here you have to define both respiratory minute volume and alveolar ventilation. So first of all, respiratory minute volume is equal to volume of air which is inspired or expired during quiet breathing in 1 minute, that is tidal volume multiplied by respiratory rate. So normally it is 500 multiplied by 12, that is approximately 6 liter per minute. Alveolar ventilation, it is the amount of inspired air entering in the alveoli. So we have to remove dead space. So during quiet breathing, alveolar ventilation is equal to tidal volume minus dead space multiplied by respiratory rate. So if we put this data in the calculation, 500 minus 150 multiplied by 12, that is 4.2 liter per minute. So alveolar ventilation is always less than the respiratory minute volume because of dead space is not counted in alveolar ventilation. Explain. Polycythemia occurs at high altitude, or increase in packed cell volume occur at high altitude. At high altitude, due to low PO2, hypoxia develop, which activate hypoxia inducible factor complex. This HIF is present in all the species who are depend on the oxygen. So naturally it is present in all the cells of the human being. So when there is hypoxia, it activates hypoxia inducible factor complex, which stimulate erythropoietin gene to increase erythropoietin hormone production, which stimulate red blood cell production, and ultimately total red blood cell count increases. That is known as polycythemia. Hematocrit or PEC cell volume is total number of blood cells, and practically total number of blood cells is the total number of red blood cell. Normally it is 40 to 45%, but because of the hypoxia at the high altitude, it raises to average about 60%. So at high altitude, polycythemia or increase in the PEC cell volume, both are same. Explain dyspareunism produce muscle cramps. In dyspareunism, due to nitrogen narcosis, the gas bubble block many small blood vessels of muscles of lower limb and arm having a small diameter, which leads to tissue ischemia, and which is responsible for the pain or cramps in the muscle. So dyspareunism produce muscle cramps. Thank you. Jai Swaminarayan.